Hello everyone, back to tuning in to today's second video doing the ECMWF extended forecast for today's second video. So this is the extended European outlook. We're going to have a look at mean sea level pressure, 500 millibar height temperature, and precipitation on anomalies for the next 30 days, being next month, and also we'll extend out to weeks 5 and 6 with the data, because why not? Charts are there, so we might as well. So this is the extended European outlook. I'll get on that for you in a moment. Just to say that first, a video today or 6 AM upload. I've got a 10 to 14 there with all of the regular features coming up later on today. So if you could please like, share and subscribe on those videos, and thank you so much everyone for doing that. Hope you're having a lovely Tuesday. Right, so let's start off with the week 1 mean sea level pressure anomaly, taking us from the 10th to the 17th of April. For Northern Europe, we've got low pressure coming in off the Atlantic this week into many parts of Europe, actually, particularly into the north and the west, but also pushing through to eastern parts of Europe. It is an area of high pressure up to the north of Scandinavia, and there's also a ridge from the Azores high building in towards Spain and Portugal. The 500 millibar height anomaly for the weekend, again showing below average heights, low pressure in from off the Atlantic into northwest Europe and pushing through into eastern and southeastern parts of Europe. There's a ridge down to the southwest, heading into Spain, Portugal, ridging in from the Azores. And we also have an area of high pressure across northern Europe, particularly centred over Scandinavia. So the temperature anomaly this week is quite cool in the north and western Europe. So around the UK and Ireland, we've got below average temperatures, and we have through France and into the Low Countries, Belgium, Holland, Netherlands, pushing through to Germany, and then on into eastern parts of Europe as well, so central and eastern Europe, down into the Balkans, even into the central bowl of the Med, like Italy, for example. We have got cooler than average temperatures through there. The far northeast Europe also has cooler than average temperature, particularly into Finland and also some parts of northern Sweden and Norway. But western and southern parts of Scandinavia, milder. Denmark, southern Sweden and Norway coming out milder than average, and it's pretty mild around the Baltic Sea states of Latvia, Estonia and Lithuania as well. Those milder temperatures extending down into the Black Sea. Warmest temperatures are for Spain and Portugal, where on the temperature scale we're around 3 to 6 degrees above average, so really quite warm there, and into the western central bowl of the Mediterranean, the Balearic Islands of Mallorca, Menorca and Ibiza, looking very warm in the week ahead. Precipitation-wise, we look like this, so it looks very dry down across Spain, Portugal, and into the central bar of the Med as well. Not too bad at all. If you want to go down and get a little bit of early summer sunshine down in the western Med, it doesn't look too bad at all. Eastern parts of the Med, though, from Italy towards Greece, Turkey more unsettled, but the really wet weather is further northwards, of course, with the low pressure coming in off the Atlantic. It's a much wetter than average week for Ireland and also the UK and into France as well. That wet weather pushing on into Germany and Poland and northwards through Denmark and into the southern Scandinavian peninsula. Further north of that, though, it's drier than normal through central, northern, northeastern parts of Scandinavia and northeastern Europe, and around the Baltic Sea states it's dry than average too. Further southwards, wet through Ukraine and going down into the Black Sea, and then, as I say, east-west split through the Med, dry in the west, generally quite wet over in the east. Right, that's week 1 done. Week 2 will be the 17th to 24th of April. Big change next week. High pressure takes over across much of central, northern and also west Europe. Low pressure gets pushed out down towards southeast Europe, and there's low pressure towards Spain and Portugal as well. But it's this big area of high pressure that's dominating the scene across much of central, northern and also western Europe next week. The precipitation, 500 millibar heights I should say, anomaly looking like this. So you see how that large area of high pressure takes over across many parts of Europe actually next week. A big anticyclone is in control. We have below average heights in far south and southeast Europe, and also out into the Atlantic Ocean as well. The temperature anomaly looks like this. So generally very mild across much of northern and also Western Europe. The core of the warmth is for Spain and Portugal. A hot week, I'd say hot rather than warm, as the temperature anomaly will be between 6 and 10 degrees above average, deep red colours, which is, for Spain, that's going to be, inland Spain, that's going to be very hot. But most of Western Europe and also Northern Europe too looking warmer than average. So we find much of Scandinavia and North East Europe with above average temperatures. Ireland, the UK, into the Low Countries, much of Germany, and especially down into France with warmer than average temperatures. Now, not warm everywhere, this southern southeastern parts of Europe with that trough of low pressure, that's where the cool air is being pushed down to. So we see Italy with cooler than average temperatures over the Adriatic into the Balkans, and between the Balkans and the Black Sea, most areas coming out with, again, cooler than average temperatures. Romania looks cooler than average, for example. And even parts of Greece and Western Turkey coming out with below average temperatures also. The Mediterranean, a proper east-west split, so again we find that Corsica, Sardinia marking the dividing line as it often seems to go to the west of that. It's a warmer than average, to the east of that generally cooler than average. And precipitation wise for next week, it turns significantly drier across much of northern and also western Europe. So again, we've got Ireland, UK, France, Spain, Portugal, Low Countries, Germany, up to Denmark, into much of Sweden and also southern Norway, over the Baltic Sea, into the Baltic Sea states of Latvia, Estonia, and Lithuania, and southwards towards Poland, possibly even in towards western parts of the Ukraine. We generally have drier than average condition here. To the east and southeast of that, it's wetter than average, so that's particularly around the Black Sea, towards Romania, going southwards towards Greece, and also potentially parts of Turkey as well. Some big showers and thunderstorms are possible through there. And then in the extreme north of Scandinavia, we're talking about the far north of Norway, to the far north of Sweden, is a little bit wetter through there. But most parts of Europe drying out next week. Okay, week 3 will be the 24th of April to the 1st of March. More changes. High pressure looks like it's centering towards Greenland and Iceland, with low pressure developing across southern and also some western parts of Europe. The 500 millibar heights look like that, blocking returns to Greenland in the last week of April, with low pressure in the Atlantic going down towards Spain, Portugal, and also North Africa. Temperature anomalies are cooling down across Scandinavia. It's turning colder there, and possibly into the northeastern Baltic Sea states as well. But south of that and west of that, so still above average generally through Spain, Portugal, France, into towards southern Germany. Ireland and the UK probably cooling down a little bit here, maybe connecting back to those cooler temperatures through Scandinavia, possibly seeing wind going into the north or the northeast with this. And then much of Eastern Europe, no signal, so that's either going to be balanced between either warmer or colder than average temperature possibilities, or it really is average, and the temperature will be bang on about what you expect. As it's such a wide area, I would suspect it's finely balanced between either being cooler or warmer than average. And precipitation wise, of course, further out we go, weak signal is getting, but there is still a signal for many central and western parts of Europe to be drier than average, wet down towards Spain and Portugal, and over on the eastern side of the Mediterranean as well. Week 4 will be the 1st to the 8th of May. More changes. Weak signal with some low pressure across the east and southeastern part of Europe and around Spain, Portugal, possibly towards the UK and Ireland and the Low Countries as well. 500 millibar heights don't really show up anything of use. And the temperature anomaly, so generally quite warmish across most parts of Europe. The warmest anomalies are light in the southern part of Europe and over in the extreme east and northeast. Still a little bit on the cool side of Scandinavia. And precipitation-wise, we look like that. So it looks a little bit wet here for the UK, for Ireland, and for Germany, and also into the Low Countries. This week, of course, 1st to the 8th of May, will be encompassing that will be encompassing the early May bank holiday for the UK, and also the King's coronation. So a few events going on there, and it does look a little bit on the wet side, if model is right, particularly across eastern, southeastern parts of Europe, quite wet down there. Right, so that's the 30-day look ahead done. Let's go to weeks 5 and 6 and have a look before we go. So week 5 will be the 8th to 15th of May. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, we've got low pressure here across much of Western Europe, a mid-Atlantic ridge as well, implying we're on the cool side of a jet stream, so generally cool and unsettled through northern and western parts of Europe there, potentially. 500 millibar heights, again, with a mid-Atlantic ridge going towards Greenland, trough of low pressure across the northwest of Europe as well. There is another ridge over on the far east and northeastern side of Europe that will be bringing warmer air up into the northeastern portions of Europe. That's where the highest temperatures are, in the far northeast. Otherwise, most areas average, not much of a signal, could be a little bit on the cool side, and it does look a little bit on the wetter side as well. A little bit of weak signal, but certainly those western northern parts of Europe do look a little bit wetter. And then week 6 will be the 15th to the 22nd of May. High pressure around Iceland, between Iceland and Scandinavia, low pressure down towards Spain, winds coming in from an easterly direction there. What's the 500 millibar heights doing? So high pressure to the north of Europe, that will bring an easterly flow across much of northern Western Europe, which could actually be quite warm. Temperature anomaly is no better than average in many areas. It's above average in the far northeast. Probably a little bit on the warmer side, if anything, though. And then lastly, precipitation-wise, we look like that. So driest in the north, where we're trying to area of high pressure, wettest in the south. Quite a weak signal, though, as always. Right, so quite an interesting update this week. It does look as though we're going to be turning drier and warmer after an unsettled start next week, and then possibly looking at something a little bit colder and more unsettled into northern and western Europe at the end of April into the beginning of May. Any further than that, and it does all start getting a little bit sketchy. Right, so we'll be back later on with 10 to 14 there. That's going to include all of our regular features. Come back for that one for this week's EC 30-day look ahead for the UK and rest of Europe too. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.